Mark graduated from nursing school in '80. I graduated in '81, and we got married in '82. He was a very kind-hearted person, always quick to smile, very soft-spoken, loved to cook. He was the chef of the family. He also loved spending a lot of time, with the kids, fishing or taking hikes in the woods or day trips. First time I contacted Patrick was December of 2002. I had some problems with my current homeowner's insurance. He contacted me right away. He came over. It was during actually a snowstorm.
After freezing to death and measuring their house, which is required, and photoing it, Kathy took pity on me and asked me into the home. We ended our first visit that night establishing a life insurance need for each of them, and I committed at the end of that first visit to craft a plan consistent with their budget.
Mark was definitely hesitant. To him, I believe he didn't see life insurance as something on a high priority list, as many of us don't.
It was a very telling moment when I delivered those contracts, because Kathy leaned forward to Mark and she grabbed him on the knee and she leaned across the desk and said, "That's fine. We'll take it just like we did it. It's exactly what we need, and we'll find a way to make it work in the budget."
Policies were delivered, I believe it was mid-March or so, and by the end of March 29th actually, Mark called me up at work that evening. He was in excruciating pain, so I took him up to the emergency room, actually the hospital where he worked, and he was admitted right away. By April 8th, he was diagnosed with a cancer. It was pancreatic cancer. It had already metastasized to the liver. When the physicians told him what the diagnosis was, I remember him turning to me and saying, "I'm going to die." I called Patrick, I think it was a few days later, after we heard the news.
I knew immediately that something was very wrong. I talked to Kathy and assured her that we would be here throughout this process with her, and we would hope for the best. Despite an aggressive treatment regimen, about 6 weeks later, Mark did pass away. I had delivered death claims before, but this was the first death claim I delivered for a customer that I wrote.
Patrick was in tears when he called me on the phone to tell me the situation. And at that point, I really told him, "You should feel elated because you have changed their future. You have cemented their future. You're able to deliver on their dreams," which is what the promise of life insurance is.
Knowing that that insurance money was there was so important. I knew that I could be home with the kids, that I could grieve.
If we didn't have the life insurance, I'd probably have to get a job and go to college later in my life, because we wouldn't have the money right now.
We would not have had our house, we would have had to sell, we would have had not the life we're living now, it would have been a lot worse and harder.
I look back now thinking, boy, there must have been somebody looking out for us, because just the timing of everything was so important. I never had even thought about obtaining more life insurance. It's just not something that you normally think about. It's nice having an agent that's in your community. It's somebody that you can rely on when things like this happen, and you know that they're going to be there to respond.